This is the second of our series of 5 felt sense writing groups for August, our special project for August. And welcome, welcome. I see a lot of our regular people here, and maybe we'll have a few new people as well. And I'm so excited and happy to welcome Susan Rudnick. She did a reflection for us last year, and we enjoyed it so much. And this is perfect venue for Susan to do this presentation for us that I'm not calling a presentation. One of the things about this group is that it's so important that we're a community and that we're sharing and that we're all making this thing happen. And we've developed this way of doing this over, a year, almost a year and a half now. We've been doing this. It's quite amazing. And as we've gone along, we've had more and more of sort of grassroots leadership and a sense of collaboration. And this felt sense writing really lends itself to that also. So it's a kind of individual intimacy, but also the intimacy of sharing with the community and sharing with the group in all of these different levels. So I'm not going to speak further, just saying welcome, and Christine will be our technical assistant this morning, and Melinda is off this morning, so you'll see her next week. So Susan, I want to just welcome you, and I'd love you to put the name of your book in the chat. Susan is a memoir writer, focusing-oriented therapist, focusing-oriented relational therapist, and workshop leader, and poet. So we're very, very happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm just doing this. Okay. Well, hi everyone. It's so lovely to be here. I want to first thank Lynn for asking me, because she's given me the opportunity to try something new that I haven't done before, and I never would have thought of all of this stuff if she hadn't asked me. So thank you, Lynn, so much. And I'm calling what we're going to do today Playing with Felt Sense as Poem, with an emphasis on the word play. Because I think poetry can sometimes feel very daunting to people. And so I wanted to speak a little bit about what poetry is for me, and then we're going to do a slightly different way of being here today. We're going to do a few short little playing with words together. And then there'll be a way we have some prompts, and then you'll go into the breakout rooms a little later. Hopefully you'll have come into this, what I'm calling the poetry space, and that will make it fun and easy to use words. So why don't we first just do a small opening attunement, and just take a moment right now to bring yourself here, meaning to just get comfortable and bring your attention inside, and first take a moment to send some gratitude to yourself because you took the energy and the time to be here. and acknowledging that whatever you had, the stress and the conflicts, difficulties that you have, just maybe seeing if it's possible to just move them over a little bit so that you can find your way to your breath. And think of your breath maybe as breathing in cleansing breath and breathing out all whatever is toxic, whatever you have that you want to let go of. And a couple of breaths like that. And then come back when you're ready so we can begin. And hello again from this space now. So we all know that that poetry is something that uses words, and what can feel a little daunting is how many ways we use words. I mean, we use words for grocery lists and legal documents and arguments and curses and prose, whatever remember that whole thing about poetry and prose. What is prose? What is poetry? And all of the things I mentioned could be in a poem, by the way. You could have a grocery list in a poem. It could be part of a poem. So what does that mean? What is a poem? So I tried to look up definitions for poetry, and I didn't find anything that worked for me. So of course I did felt sensing, and I came up with my own definition. And first I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to show it to you. So take a moment in a felt sense way and hear. So poetry is using words to paint and sing what is in our heart. So since poetry uses both spoken and written words, I'm going to show it to you here. So I hope you can all see it. Poetry is using words to paint and sing what is in our heart. Just take a moment to be with that. I also, when I'm showing you this to show you that I actually broke the lines up in a particular way, and I have this particular way of ordering them. I could have done it a whole other way. I could have made it one long line. I could have had paint and sing different lines. What I'm trying to show you already is that poetry, part of poetry is arranging words on a page in different ways that you can play with, all different ways of arranging how you put the words on the page. And we're going to do that. We're going to do a little of that in a little while. We're going to be having fun with arranging words on a page. So I just want to say a couple of more things about how I see poetry. The way I see poetry is that every word is a door to open a new world. Every single word can be a door to open a new world. And so the first little exercise or play we're gonna do, I don't like the word exercise, is I'm gonna hold up a word and say it, and I'm gonna ask you to get a felt sense of this word and write just a couple of things that come to you, a couple of words that come to you about this word. And when I say every single word, I mean this word, the word and. So take a moment to take in this word and take it in a felt sense way and write a few, whatever comes to you, a couple of words. And I'm showing it to you another way now. I'm showing you the word and with a capital A. See, both are words, a word that could be a door. So here's this, and here's this. So just take a minute or two. So would anyone like to share how that was for them? Or do you need a little bit more time? Take another minute. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, did someone raise their hand that would like to share?
Sure, I was thinking add, include, heavier. Those are sort of inclusive, add, heavier.
Liz, did you want to say something? And then Sophie?
So what came very strongly for me is that and words are symbols, and I look at the shape, the pressure that it's written with, and the color.
Great, beautiful. Who else? Sophie, I think, had her hand up.
Charles too had his hand up. I don't know, maybe before.
Charles. Yeah, okay, Charles. Hi. Hey, Charles, go. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I need to unmute. Okay. So the words that came are more, connection, inclusion, possibility, and the phrase, the sky's the limit.
Beautiful. Okay. Fantastic. I can't, Leslie, I can't see both screens at one time. So Leslie and then June and then Sophie.
Okay, unmute. Unmute, okay. And is an arrow that opens to the new. And is a stone that gathers what may be true.
Woof.
Wow.
June, I think I said. Sophie.
Right.
Yeah.
Mine is similar. And to me is something new, something more.
Yeah. Sophie, I think.
Yes, hi,
Sophie.
Susan. Nice that you don't like the word exercise. I do not either. And is where there is a story about another story in cosmos, light, and us, including Earth, is in all of this. Oh, something is wrong there. Anyhow, is in all of this together, is where we are in all of this together.
So great. These are all yeah, and it just, you take the simplest word and you can see how a word opens so many things. That's why, I mean, I just thought and is the best word. I mean, as a therapist, and is my favorite word too. You know, I never hardly ever say but, I say and, it's this and. Anyway, another.
I wonder if I can add something.
Yeah, sure,
was
Lynn.
trying to raise my hand, but my computer is very slow.
Oh,
I thought of the difference between the small a and the capital A, and I love
Yeah.
it. Capital A is like really pay attention to what's coming next.
Right,
that's
Um,
it, right.
exactly.
And I thought of how and is the smallest way, in a sense, to express the philosophy of the implicit.
Mhm.
It says there is no is, there's just is and. And so it says this whole
Yeah.
huge philosophy.
So, you know, when you use that word in a poem, hey, you know, great, 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 great. So I also wanted to say something because it's so intrinsic to poetry about metaphor. So, you know, when I noticed when I said every word is a door, that's a metaphor. I already used the metaphor when we were working, and we're so used to it that we just, oh yeah, right, every word could be a door. I mean, no one even thought anything of it. But when you think about it, it's a metaphor. And what is a metaphor? A metaphor is taking two things that are unlike, they're not like each other, but there's some kind of commonality, and you hook them together. And when you hook them together, there is a click. It's a felt sense. I mean, there are dead metaphors. We're so used to them that there's no click. But when you find a metaphor and you hook them together, it's fresh, it's new. You're putting two things together and it opens the world again. Like if I say you are a rose, that's kind of a dead metaphor. We know that, you know, when you talk about, but when you think about it, rose and a rose and a person, you're hooking two very unlike things together, and that there's a commonality. So when I said, and so when you hook them together, they enhance each other. When I said every word is a door, I mean, what are you hooking together? You're hooking together a concrete thing, a door, and this other thing about a word that can open. What is when a word opens? I mean, you're using this visual, so to speak, of a door opening, and then that brings you to a place where you understand what I was trying to say in a way that you might not have understood it before. And when what I want to say for me, sometimes what has surprised me, and when we're going to do some writing, sometimes when you felt sensing, you think of two words that don't seem to have any connection to each other. But if you write them down, you'll see that they do. And there is a metaphor there that you didn't even know. So you can be on the lookout for that sometimes. Every once in a while, I wrote something about a flower bud. And I had this idea that then all of a sudden I came up with the word birthing, that the plant was birthing a flower. And I thought that's pretty powerful, you know, and I put the two things together. And I was talking to my daughter about it, and she said, oh, looks like it's going to be a healthy baby flower. So we had a lot of fun with, that was a thing we had a lot of fun with. So I'm trying to just give you that sense of how you can put words together in surprising ways. And just take a moment here. Let's just, we'll just take a moment from here. So what I'd like for us to do is a painting with words, in the sense of, you know, how I held this up and showed you could do words in so many different ways. I'm going to give you a prompt, which I will and show you in a minute. And please, you can use the words in the prompt or any other words that come for you. And you're going to make a painting with words. You can make any kind of shape you like. You can fling them all over the page. You can make them into you can do a shape like a triangle. You can do some irregular curlicues with your words. We're going to do a word painting now, okay? And I'm going to give you a prompt that you're going to work with. So this is the prompt. The prompt is this summer morning. This summer morning. And I want you to take a few minutes, like maybe 5 minutes, to make a word painting. You may use these words and of course felt sense into what is this summer morning. Well, for some of you, it might be the afternoon if you're in South Africa. So make it this summer afternoon or wherever you are, or use morning to make.
Yes, and winter too. It'll be winter. Also.
Oh, it might be winter. Oh, my dear. Well, can you imagine yourself in summer? Well, play with it however you want. All I'm saying is I would love you to play with these words and make a painting. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes for that. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Another few seconds. What I'd like you to, if it feels right, to just, well, individuals can speak about what they wrote or read it, but I was just wondering if everyone would feel comfortable just holding theirs up so we can just get the pictures. Wow, just hold them up, you know, no one has to see what, fantastic. Oh, love it. Yeah, great. Beautiful. So fun. Everyone's is totally different. Wonderful. All right. Who would like to either maybe talk about theirs a little bit or read it? I love what you did. Anyone would like to say how that was for them or to read their one?
I think for me, it opens up how we express something or how we communicate, or I don't know. And I think there's like, it just opens up possibilities.
Yes.
That it's not just like, I think there's what it makes me think of. Sometimes we read it and we think there's like one way to read it or to get the information and then maybe we get a little further and think of reading it in different voices, but this opens it up in a different way.
Yeah, it's the nonlinear aspect of it, of using words, I think, you know. Thank you. Oh, Charles put something in the chat. Shall I read it? I'll read what Charles put. Do you want to read it yourself? Charles, would you rather read it?
No, actually, it's nice to hear you read it.
Okay, that's another thing. It's good to hear other people read it. So you have it twice. Did you mean to put it twice?
The second time is correction. The first one was
okay. This summer morning, the air is as fresh as a mountain brook. Green are its edges. Love that. And the flowers bloom. green art. The summer morning has green edges. That is beautiful. See, that's a very fresh metaphor. The fact that a summer morning has edges. It's green edges. Beautiful. Thank you. How was it to hear me read it?
Yeah, very nice. Actually, you read it differently than I was thinking that the edges of the brook were green, but now you read it this way. It's like the edges of the summer morning is green.
Yeah.
And that makes it even more metaphorical.
Yes. That's the other thing. Poetry is, it's, it's relational. It's interaction. Definitely. Leslie, would you like to speak? You have to unmute though.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
have screen, so go ahead.
I found handwriting difficult. I type. Okay, so it is on the page in a certain form, but I'll read it as I've written it in a way. This summer, morning sings of frogs and water, lilies lilting on the pond, and early waking to fresh promises and plans of deep sea diving, breathtaking, held and calming.
Now, can you hold it up so we can see how it looks?
But it's
Yes, you see, you went all, that's great. You see, you did, I don't know if ever I could, we see that it's moved, very moving. It's like a water.
Like water.
Very much like water, what you did. That's a real kind of a painting. Lovely. Is there anyone else, or
I could read
Dorothy? Oh, all right, Dorothy and then Arnold. Okay, Dorothy, go ahead, unmute. You have to unmute. Okay, yeah, there you go.
This summer morning, my daughter's first day of work on her birthday, a cloudy day. I know sunlight is just behind those low-lying, mushed together clouds. Sunlight pushing for attention. Look at the hope being offered to the once little girl now bursting forth to a new life.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful poem. Wow. Anyone have, can you hold up how you did it? So you might have done it very straightforward. Yeah, beautiful. That's fantastic. Oh, and you kind of curved it. Lovely. Yeah. Yep, you brought people and you brought your daughter into it, and it's clearly what's in your heart, and we're painting what's in our heart. So you painted what was in your heart. Thank you. And someone else put something in the chat. Okay, so Arnold, shall I read it, or I don't know where you are on the screen. Oh, there you are. Shall I read it, or would you like to read it yourself?
I can read it.
Why don't you read? Fine, lovely.
This summer morning is here, just for now. And we are here with it and in it. It will never be here again, just as we will never be here again. Or
can you show us how you did it, your painting, or you can't? If you can't, you can't, that's fine.
yeah, it's kind of in a notebook, so
that's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
And then it continues. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow, we were already writing and painting and singing. Great. So we're gonna move on now, but thank you, everyone. I love this, touches my heart. What I wanted to do next, before we do the breakout rooms, is to do a little thing about prompts, okay? Because what I by the way, really feel that my calling in life has been to be a poet, and yet for most of my life, I've been so stuck, like I've been able to write a poem a year or 2 poems a year. And then I found haikus, and I am a haiku poet, and I can do those. But the longer poems, the things that I haven't had a lot of traction. And about 2 months ago, I took a workshop, a lovely, amazing workshop about poetry. And the whole thing was that we were given, you could use a prompt to write a poem, like a saying, and so that you don't start with a blank page. So I've been on a roll. I have all kinds of prompts I use. I put the prompt on the page, and then I write the poems come. So what I want to do is I'm going to hold up some possible prompts and different kinds of prompts, so you'll see what I'm talking about. Then we'll do a little, each of you will take a few minutes for you to go in to find your own prompts, and then we'll go into the breakout rooms. So for example, here are some prompts. First one is, what if? There are different kinds of prompts. What if, or how come, or a phrase like that, or just a word, the word blue I have down. Or I'm going to read this. It's a saying that my yoga teacher used. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. That's a fantastic, when she did it in the yoga, I wrote it down. You could write a poem to that. Or love is simply creation's greatest joy. You see, these are different kinds of prompts, right? So I can put these in the chat, but I don't think that's so important, because what I'd like you to do now is take 5 minutes or a little, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, to walk around your own space. Sometimes I have things posted on, to walk around your own space where you are right now, or to sit and find, or take a book of poetry that you have lying around and see if you can find a couple of prompts for yourself. And I don't know if this makes sense. Does everyone, so just take a few minutes, I'll clock it, maybe let's say 3 or 4 minutes, to find 1 or 2, and if you don't, you'll be welcome when we go into to use one of the ones that I have. But see what calls to you in your own space or in your own felt sense. So I'm going to clock it now. Okay, look around.
We're creating our own prompt.
Just find a couple of prompts in your own space. Something that appealed, look through a book, look at a paint, just, yes, you're going to make your own prompts. 1 or 2 or 3, give yourself choices, just look around. So let's come back. And I put my prompts in the chat. If you're welcome to any of those. I'm sure you all have 1 or 2. And I'm going to ask Christine to put you in breakout rooms, but just 2 people, because we'll have a half an hour. So 10 minutes, you'll write for 10 minutes, and then you'll each have 10 minutes with the other to share your work or how it was for you. Any questions before I ask Christine to, I think it should be pretty clear.
So
I wonder if Christine can let us know when the 10 minutes are over so that we know that we'll share. And I just want to reiterate the way we've been doing it is that we share either what we've written or how it was to write it, if it's too personal, and that the partner is talking not about the quality of writing, but about how it impacts
Yes,
you,
thank
what
you.
it does in you. So it's
Totally.
felt sense writing and felt sense listening.
Thank you. That's perfect. That's really just exactly right.
Are we writing from our own prompts?
Your own prompts, of course. You want to pick one or two of your own prompts. If you pick one, or if you finish, I'm just using mine in case you don't like your own, whatever, so sure. Okay, Christine, so we're ready. You can put.
Okay, now I just have a quick question. Is
Sure.
everybody participating? Well, first of all, if you can't, and now's the time to leave. Second thing is I need to know, Lynn and Susan, are you participating?
I'm not going to participate.
Lynn?
No, I'm not able to.
Okay, here we go then.
Okay, so we'll see you at 9:30 and hear what it was like for you. So looking forward to seeing you.
I was a little surprised how quickly it came to me.
Were there other people surprised?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were too, Jim.
Surprised at what? That it was easy, that it came, that it was something.
I was surprised at the process. I don't consider myself a writer at all, and not particularly creative, but I was able to become creative by looking in the room and selecting 2 prompts, and then a story came forward. And then I had a little bit of poetic license to the story, and it kind of all flowed, a little bit to my amazement.
That's wonderful.
Nikki, do you need the seat?
Yay. That's fantastic. Good, I'm glad.
I'm wondering, Susan, how it would be if people wanted to put what they wrote in the chat and we could compile it, or email it to Susan and Melinda and I.
That would be great, but the chat is a
Julie,
little.
do you need to sit here?
No.
It's a long thing for people to.
Yeah, I think it's too
It's
long.
just not just a few lines, I think.
Yeah, put your email address and you can send it to
me,
to Susan and to me, and
okay,
and we'll send it out to everybody. We'll make a little document. Why don't you just send it to Susan, and then Susan, you'll send it to me, and we'll include it in next week's invitation.
all right. Anyone who would like to send me, I put my email in the chat. But then I'll just forward it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or people can send it to me as well.
I mean, I really think I think it's easier people just send it to you. I'd like to see it. I don't know. You could send it to both. Why don't you email to both of us and then we'll both have it. That's the easiest.
That's the easiest way.
Then I could enjoy it and you can use it however you like.
Great.
I'd love to hear if it isn't, a prompt that someone used, that maybe a prompt that you were a little surprised at that you used. I'd love to hear what the couple of prompts were, if that works.
Mine was life is.
Life is.
Life is. ...
Wow.
Well, that's great. That's great. You see, that's exactly such an open thing, Mhm.
Are
you contagious emotions?
What did you say?
Contagious emotions.
Now, the prompts are something you could put in the chat. you could put your prompts in the chat if you
That's
felt
true.
like
Yeah,
that you could
sounds like a
do.
good idea.
One funny thing that came up, both my partner and I with the ands, with a small letter A, good things followed. With a capital A, negative. It was so funny.
Oh.
We both had the same experience,
Ah,
Wow.
like having it at the beginning of a sentence, like negative followed with a capital A.
I love contagious emotions.
Right.
All these prompts. Beauty often arises in the middle of things, from Pam in South Africa. Lynn, Robert Broom, just what I was not looking for. What I suggest is, if you like a prompt, take it, write it down now. You can use, it's all about using everything. Use what anyone sends. So if you like, look in the chat, just what I was, here's another one. Her masterpiece darkens with age. Another one, lizard as a design, but not an animal. You had to go to funerals. These are amazing.
Susan, I was amazed. Now, I don't know if it was due to the partner I had or the situation, and also having just a dyad and not a triad. It quickly created a lot of connection without intending to do so. The process itself, is it the process of poetry, or we get to our raw self so quickly? What was it? I couldn't figure out, but it really felt so. I don't know. I think it was my partner's doing. I don't know. It's just that I just got very, really real quickly.
Wonderful. Mystery was a mystery. Mystery is a very good prompt, or it's a mystery, or.
Yeah. Right. It's a mystery. Right.
So what I'm suggesting is, as you go around your day, you can collect prompts. Because prompts, I don't know, I have found prompts really help me go, and I'm sitting in a place where I had quotes written on that I tacked up on my wall, and I've used the quotes, so Into the Wall from Leslie, like that.
No, that was actually, it burst into the wall above our bed.
Okay. Okay.
It burst into the wall above our bed, but I mean, you could also just take Into the Wall.
I love lizard as a design, but not. Anyway, so that's one of my suggestions. It prompts, like when you look around your room or you're walking and you see what brings you to what draws your attention means there's something that wants a more that could come. And even if you don't understand what this grouping of words is, or the one I read to you, I sail serenely through the skies of inner freedom. This was in some yoga class. I'm like, oh my God, I have to write. It felt so great. I didn't know where that could lead me, or if it could lead me. So when something speaks to your heart, take it. And then it can be a more. It doesn't have to be a poem, but it could be a poem. And you can always make a word painting out of whatever it is you can just move the words around, those words. It's playing. It's going back to playing. It's non-linear, and it is harder with words because we use language in so many other contexts. We don't always use paint. I mean, of course, we paint signs and stuff like that. But if you get a set of paints, you're not maybe as encumbered as we might be with words, where we're so stuck in the linear framework.
We had the similar, Laura and I, experience, I think, of like almost instant intimacy with the media and one another. So it was quite impressive. And yeah.
That's wonderful. That's a mystery to me too, but I think poetry or words like in that way, they are connectors, you know. That's what poetry is. It tries to, metaphor, each of you came together like a metaphor. Your similarities, you found each other in some way. And I don't know,
I just wanted to comment on that also, that it's a different kind of focusing, and that's what focusing does. You know, it brings you into this realm of yourself.
Yes.
That is this implicit more, this vast more of your being and your connection to all of life and to other generations and other people. And the metaphor is what Jean would call a crossing. It's bringing two things together. And so writing in this way is an act of focusing, and it does bring the mystery, and it does bring the connection and the interaction with this larger dimension that we are always in, but we don't pay attention to.
Yes.
And it's always surprising. It's like so many people said I was surprised.
It is. It is. It is. Well, thank you, everyone. I think we have a few more minutes. I'm going to read a poem I wrote with a prompt. Should I do that, or any last comment before I
think I have one last comment, because I've seen and actually tried to do world paintings, and what I know of them, it's usually very conceptual. And
what kind of painting? Rock paint?
World paintings.
World?
Like words and phrases, like what we did today.
Yes, words.
And I think what we did today, I see a possibility to do it in a more embodied way.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Yes. Well, it's totally embodied. It's always finding the felt sense of taking words, or if I'm writing, I will write something, then I'll look at how I broke the lines. I mean, and I'll try to, like, if you break the lines and it's a felt sense of, does the line break here or should it be over? You know, it just, you really have to feel into it, and using punctuation or not. I mean, there's so many choices. But yes, it's totally, anyway, I'm going to close. So one of my favorite poets is a woman named Jane Kenyon, Kenyon. If you haven't read her poetry, I'm going to put her name in the chat. She's one of my favorites. And the prompt was from one of her poems. So it starts with her line. God does not leave us comfortless. Let evening come. Maybe I won't be left alone. Life force failing, nothing more to eat or sow. Maybe whatever is God or the spirit between us or of us that links us and is part of me will show itself, and I won't be left alone when darkness comes. The blacks and whites of letters on the page, the marks and the spaces between them call to me. I'm crying out inside my heart with this plea for being held, held in the darkness, held in the crossing over, held in the unknowing. This is my morning prayer. Pray for me, pray for me, pray with birdsong and shiny morning insects. Let us all pray together to be held when evening comes.
Oh, beautiful,
It's very beautiful, Susan.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. And you
Mm.
helped to hold us in this morning, this evening.
Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be with you all, and
Thank you, Susan. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
some of
Susan.
my special friends from far away. So glad to see you.
Thank you, Susan.
So lovely.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Thank you.
Susan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you, Lynn.
Bye, Dorothy.
Bye,
Dorothy.
June. Thank you, Lynn, for
Bye
creating
all.
the
Bye
story.
all.
Bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
Lynn.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.